What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. I have Justin as a guest. Justin, how are you today?
I'm tired. How are you?
I'm good. So, let's start off. Today we're going to be talking solely about the NFL Divisional round. But before we start, so Justin, last night, so Justin likes to predict like random things in games, and once in a while he gets something really crazy thing right. So Justin, you want to talk about last night?
You could talk about last night and the night before. It's not my place. It's your show.
That's right. So on Saturday night, the Packers 49ers game, he was just going off. He called both Jordan Love picks. He called Andres Carlson missing a field goal. He called Jake Moody missing a field goal.
Now that one was insane. I'm like Jake Moody, you're gonna miss this. Like I would not give this ball to Jake Moody ever. And then what a surprise, he gets blocked. And then I'm looking at Anders Carlson and I just start screaming, "Embrace your inner Jake Moody," and just wide left. And just wide left. And
Yeah,
that was just a painful loss.
I don't know how he does that. And then in the Chiefs-Bills game, so Tyler Bass is getting ready to kick a game-tying field goal with 1:47 left in the game. And Justin over here said something like, "Oh, he's gonna miss this," or whatever he said.
I once again said, like, embrace your inner Jake Moody. I'm like, I'm like the most Bills thing to do here is to miss this field goal.
And what does he do? From only 44 yards out, he misses.
I'm like, nice miss, Tyler.
I don't know how you do it. The most obscure things you just call on the spot. But
it's okay. It's just how I am.
This is how I'm built.
It's just how I'm built. I'm just always crystal balling. What can I say? Call me Doctor Strange. I'm crystal balling.
All right, so let's jump right in. Let's talk about the first game, which was Ravens-Texans. Ravens win 34-10. Lamar ran for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also did some damage through the air. He had 4 touchdowns in the game. So Ravens move on to the AFC Championship. But let's talk about the Houston Texans. Big year for them. Last year, only won 3 games. They were the worst team in the previous 2 years. They went through coach after coach, the Watson saga. Finally find themselves a coach in D'Amico Ryans. Finally found themselves a quarterback. They hit on a second pick in C.J. Stroud. They go out and surprisingly win 10 games, win their division, and even a playoff game. So, what are your thoughts on the Houston Texans going forward?
I think they're a very scary team to watch at this point. They're only getting better from here. I'm not sure where their draft position is right now, but you get teams like this, like newer teams that haven't won Super Bowls, teams that haven't really had success in a while that start to really come up, and that's when you start getting presence from stars. More people start to want to go to your team. More people like the coach. More people like the person up front with the quarterbacks, like CJ Stroud. You can't go wrong. I think they only get better from here. They were a very, very young team as well. Very young, very inexperienced, and they did all of this. It's very impressive. I do not want to hear a single Ravens fan boast about this win. There's nothing that the reason I'm telling you is, like, there's nothing to look at here. Like, people are gonna look at this game and are gonna say, oh, we're going straight to the Super Bowl. But they'll look at but they'll look at, I don't know, getting blown out 70-0 against the 49ers and be like, we're fine. Not an issue. I mean, I don't remember. I don't know if Lamar was in was in a championship game ever. I don't think he's going to do well at all. I don't think he's going to win.
Really?
I don't think he's going to win. Every single year, we think, because the Chiefs are in the AFC Championship, which we'll talk about later, but every single year, people, they love Patrick Mahomes, but they also think that he's just never going to go anywhere. Like, they're just expecting that a team with Patrick Mahomes is just going to be a 9-8 team, and is going to go on the wild card and just think, oh yeah, that's just going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. Like, if Ravens fans and the Ravens think this is a free win, they're not going to the Super Bowl. That's just it. You're not going to win a Super Bowl if you look at the Chiefs and say, oh yeah, easy dub. That's all I'm saying.
For whatever reason, every offseason there's like a certain point in the offseason where, like, people just, for whatever reason, something comes over them and they're like, oh yeah, Pat Mahomes is just going to fall off because of what's around him and he's not going to be that good anymore. And the Chiefs team isn't going to be as good as you think and they're going to be a first round exit. I don't understand it at all.
I don't understand what more he has to do. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like I know we'll get to the divisional game later, but so I'll save that. But like, I just don't understand how people can think that.
Yeah.
Like I personally think he's already made a case for. It's a bit of a stretch, but I think he's already made a case for being the best Chiefs quarterback ever.
He probably is.
He probably is.
I'd probably put him ahead of like Dawson.
I think when he's in his 30s and he's like 40, he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely.
I think no one will ever wear.
He's in the Hall of Fame right now.
I don't think anyone will ever wear the number 15 in Kansas City ever again.
Definitely
not. And he's also, I think, one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen in our generation. I just think those are unarguable facts.
He's a generational talent.
He's a generational talent. I mean, yeah, I know Brady's better. We know Brady's better, but like, but still, so I'm not saying that Mahomes will have that torch passed on to him, but it's like once Brady left, who are you going to say is better than Mahomes right now in the league?
I couldn't name anybody else.
I couldn't. Maybe you can argue Lamar this year.
Yeah.
But last year it wasn't Lamar. Last year it wasn't Jalen Hurts. Last year it wasn't, Joe Burrow. It was Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mean we'll have that career conversation in the next 20 years, but for now I just don't. I just think people should show a little bit more respect to Mahomes because it can't be this whole thing to where it's like, you call him out for throwing, a 40-yard bomb off his back foot to MVS and saying it's a glazing session.
Yeah.
Just can't happen.
Yeah, it definitely can't. But yeah, Texans got a lot of good things moving forward. You got a really good young coach in D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot this was all about the Texans. Yeah. So shout out CJ Stroud. Sure. Okay. Yeah. I forgot this was literally all about the Texans. All right. Yeah. So yeah, of course, as you were talking about, yeah, young players, great. I think if Tank Dell was healthy, this is a whole different game.
That game would be a lot closer.
I think this secondary. I don't think this Ravens secondary has an answer for Tank Dell.
No?
I just don't. No. I think when you put Stroud
yesterday or the day prior to yesterday, with Humphrey out, they may have had a hard time. I'll definitely say that. They may have had
a hard time. And the thing is, like, when you've put Stroud and Tank together, it's just like, it's a perfect pair. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's like every time, like, I mean, Tank Dell, you could have, if he stayed healthy, could have been in the Rookie of the Year candidacy, without a doubt. Yeah. He did get hurt, which sucks, but I mean, he's beat out every person he's played against. There hasn't really, I haven't seen a moment to where a secondary has been able to lock up Tank Dell for a game.
Yeah.
And also the issue is that would have been one less person because he was out. It was one less person for the secondary to keep an eye on because usually CJ Stroud already, what we've seen, especially in that Buccaneers game when he had that game-winning drive, it very much showed to where like you can double cover Tank Dell, but he's gonna throw it deep to Nico Collins. You can double cover Nico Collins, gonna throw it to Tank Dell. You can cover both of them, and he's gonna throw it in the slot to Dalton Schultz. Like he just can read a defense really, really well, and you never really get to confidently say that a team has their franchise guy in the first year. But this time, I think it's very safe to say that they have a franchise guy.
They definitely hit. They definitely completely knocked that pick out of the park with Stroud.
Imagine being the Panthers.
Oof, that's rough.
Imagine being the Panthers. That shit's so funny.
They goofed on that pick. But yeah, Texans have a lot of young talent, especially at the quarterback position. They did a really good job in the draft. They got Stroud at 2. I don't think anybody really had an issue with that. I thought Stroud should have went 1. I tried to tell people he's the more NFL ready guy. He's the best quarterback in the draft over Bryce. People didn't listen to me. And Dave Tepper didn't listen to me either. And look how that worked out. And then they also made the move. They traded up they gave up a first round pick in this year's draft to move up to get the third pick and get Will Anderson. People were like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. You're not going to be very good. Why should you give up a future first when you're in a rebuild? You gotta remember that move gave them a piece to build around on the offensive end and a piece to build around on the defensive end, because you get Will Anderson, who had a good year. He had 7 sacks, got off to a slow start, but then came on as the year went on, ended up having a really good year. He'll probably be a defensive rookie of the year finalist. Jalen Carter probably wins it.
I don't think he should win it. I don't think Jalen Carter should.
But you could definitely make a case for Will Anderson. I have a feeling they might give it to Carter, but my pick is probably Will Anderson. Honestly, Carter.
Is Deron Bland a rookie?
Yes.
He might win it.
Because
he has like a
Bland,
record for pick
I think
six
he's a rookie at least.
I think he has like a record for pick sixes or something. I don't know, but I know it's. At least I thought he was a rookie from what I remember.
I'm pretty sure that he's a rookie.
I thought it was spelled D-E, Ron, not D-A, but that's weird. Okay, that makes me uncomfortable.
He is no, this is his second year.
This second year, okay. We would have won. He would have been.
He would have easily won. He would easily won.
He probably would have easily won. So yeah, I mean, good for you, Texans. Congratulations. And also, I'm just gonna here's also what I have to say as well before we move on. If Brian Daboll can win Coach of the Year for making a shit team a wild card team and getting blown out in the second round, D'Amico Ryan should win it by a long shot.
Yeah, I said about a month ago I should be Stefanski. Now I think about it, I think it's D'Amico Ryan's.
It's either D'Amico or Dan Campbell. The only reason it's a little weird because I said if D'Amico Ryan's makes a playoff, I think you have to give it to him.
That's it as well.
However, if Dan Campbell makes a Super Bowl, I think you have to give it to Dan Campball.
That's true. Yeah, take him on to a Super Bowl.
I think it should be only one of those two guys. I don't want to see anyone else in the conversation. Yeah. It should only be those two guys, and either of them I think would deserve it. But based off the amount of inexperienced players that D'Amico Ryan's had to work with, I think he just deserves it more. Yeah. Like, look at all of the pieces that Dan Campbell had.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that I could have coached it better.
Right.
But I'm just saying that, when you have Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta, you have Jahmyr Gibbs, you have David Montgomery, you have Aiden Hutchinson, you have a pretty solid team to build around, and something's got to click at some point. Yeah, we've talked about this before in all sports. Coach of the year, for the most part, goes to a team that a coach who takes a team that's not good and makes them good. Like, for example, in basketball, that's why Tom Thibodeau beat out Monty Williams, because Tom Thibodeau took a Knicks team that was not expected to be very good and made the playoffs. That's why Mike Brown won last year.
Right, yeah, and opposed to, like, Monty Williams when Tibbs won. He took a team that was, like, good. I guess he made it with he took a playoff team and they took them to the conference, to the
finals.
Finals. Tibbs only lost in the first round. He took a team that was garbage and had been garbage for a long time.
For, like, 20 years.
For 20 years, and took them and made them a good team. And that, again, like you said, that's why you had Joe Mazzulla. Yes, he had a great team and they were great. Like, okay, cool. But Mike Brown took a team that was not expected to be good, had been bad for a very long time, and took them and made them really good. So that's why Dan Campbell basically is taking a really good team. I mean, going into the year, we thought as long as the Lions don't lion, they should be a 12-win team, win their division. They can win a playoff game, all that, and which is what they did. And the Texans, we thought, oh, they're going to win 3-4 games.
Yeah, people thought the Texans were going to get the number 1 overall pick again, which would have been good for them. But you do this, and you've really impressed. So maybe people think they might not need that pick as bad as they really need. Mm-hmm. But I would look at the offseason and just go hard on a line. Give Stroud more time to throw that football. Yeah. Also, remember when people were killing Stroud in the preseason. People, he was throwing picks left and right. They're like, he's not going to be good. He's going to suck. And then it's like, preseason doesn't mean shit.
I know. I remember when Jamar Chase, his rookie year, he was a drop machine. People were like, oh, people were missing that. And then look what happened.
I mean, let's remember something. At one point, the Detroit Lions had a perfect record in the preseason, and then they went 0-16.
Wow, that's funny.
I think that was the team that did it. Yeah, they were like 4-0 in the preseason, and then they just had a horrible record in the regular season. They were 0-16.
Wow.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, I think because he unlike that to call it the Wonderlic test, like a test if the prospects take at the combine, and Stroud had one of the lowest scores, so people started doubting him then. So then they asked him about it. And he goes, "I don't take tests. I play football."
Yeah,
Like,
I'm a football player.
which I agree. I mean, there's been plenty of guys who have scored really well on that test and then flopped in the NFL, and it works both ways. Been guys who have flopped on a test and done really well. Like, to me, that doesn't really matter to me.
I don't think it should matter. I think how you produce on the field should matter most.
Yeah, just taking a test. He's not he's not
And
in college
yeah,
anymore.
and not for nothing. I'm looking more at the regular season results than the preseason results.
Exactly. Yes, well, let's move on to the nightcap Saturday. 49ers Packers. 49ers pulled out 24-21.
The career prediction night for me.
Justin went off.
The four prediction night for me.
He went 4 for 4.
I was the real MVP of this game. I was the MVP.
Yeah, 49ers win 24-21. Just Carlson. Packers kicker had a chance to tie with a field goal late, and he missed, as Justin predicted, literally on the spot. So I want to talk about Jordan Love. So,
all right, we can talk about Jordan Love.
He
I guess
he had a bit of an interesting year. So I was not high on him coming into the year. About week 10 or 11, he was really struggling. He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Yeah, people saying he's not the guy, get him out of here. But then he finished really, really strong. Got the Packers to the playoffs. Won a playoff game. Beat Dallas in the first round. Not saying a whole lot, but he did get it done. Really good game. Struggled a little bit against the Niners. He obviously threw 2 late picks. That last pick was the Yikers. So, Love, I heard, do you think he's a franchise guy? What do you think of him moving forward?
It's too early to tell.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to say to him, he's not the guy, write him off.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think people that are saying that, mainly Packers fans who are saying that, are just still living in the days of Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're basically, they're just used to Hall of Fame quarterbacks just coming in like clockwork at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, you had Bart Starr, who's a Hall of Famer, and then, you get, nobody. You get, people that I forgot about because it doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden you get Brett Favre, and then you get Aaron Rodgers. And, after dealing with, in essence, 35 years of Hall of Fame talent, because that's what Aaron Rodgers is. Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Favre is a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably expecting Jordan Love to, immediately take that torch and do everything that Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers did in their career, which isn't fair to him. He can be, I don't know. I think there were some things about this game that did impress me a bit about Jordan Love, mainly with the aspect of him really, he definitely showed that he can read a defense a little more.
Mm-hmm.
That defense is no joke. That 49ers even now they played played awful.
They did not look good.
But the other thing is, if you're a quarterback, take advantage of what you get, right? If the secondary is slipping on the turf, if the turf monster
did that a couple times.
Yeah, if the turf monster is eating them up, take advantage of it. Go ahead. It's a smart play to do. It's a smart thing to do. He has shown that. I think that pick was just. That last pick, I'm not going to completely crucify him for it. I'm not going to say he's not the guy because of it. It was just a really dumb play.
Yeah.
It was a really dumb play. I was watching Tom Grossi, who's the Packers fan, his live reactions. He streams every game, his reaction every game. And he saw the pick. And first of all, he was depressed as hell. But he was saying, you can't do that. He's
right.
This point, you can't do that. This is just this was not the Jordan Love who threw for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns.
No.
That's not at all what it is. That being said, do I think he was the sole issue as to why they lost this game? Absolutely not. Anders Carlson's got to make that game. He's got to make that. He was
horrible all season.
He has to make that kick. But I just think what a full circle moment it is, really, because last time the Packers were in the playoffs, it was they played the 49ers and they got screwed by the special teams unit. And what they got sent home because the special teams did not step up. And what happens again when they play the 49ers? The special teams does not step up when they needed to.
Yeah.
Also, that return for a fumble to where that was
That was
barely
very
recovered by
lucky.
Green Bay. That was luck.
That was
I
very
can't
together.
blame Jordan Love for that. I just can't. The only thing that was questionable was that throw at
Yeah.
the end, albeit it was at the worst possible time. Like, you do that in the second quarter,
Okay.
and I'm like, okay, fine. But he can't. I think he just got. The way I think about it is this guy is technically in his rookie season. If you look at like being a
Yeah.
full-time starter, he's a rookie as a full-time starter. So he's not used to it, and I think it's like, okay, we just beat the shit out of Dallas. We were not proven at all. I'm fired up. I've been lighting up this defense all game.
He tried to be the hero.
He tried to be the hero at that moment. And it just didn't. And it just didn't work out. I thought he just needed to throw it away, and maybe there would have been a different option if he played with that patience that we're used to from him. We would be having a very different conversation. I was talking to Liam about this, and I said this: if Jordan Love was to, like, if they're down by a field goal, and Jordan Love was to lead a drive, a game-tying drive, that's when you need to start having the conversation saying if he's the guy.
Yeah.
That right there. Like, if he can show that he's a game manager, then absolutely. And, I mean, he has shown that a little bit, but I'm also not impressed that he did against the Panthers. Just saying.
I remember I was at a bar restaurant in Florida with my dad when I was visiting, and there was this one Packers fan was there. He was like screaming it at one of the TVs. Even when they won, he was like, "Jesus Christ!" Because they almost lost to Carolina. You gave up 30 points to Bryce Young. That's not.
You gave 30 points to Adam Thielen. Did DJ Shark just lit up your bum ass franchise? What I don't agree with, however, is them throwing the bag at him. Do not throw the bag at Jordan Love. Do not make the same mistake that the Giants did with Daniel Jones.
Thank you.
Don't make the same mistake. He had one. To Jordan Love's credit, he did not have a 1,500 passing yard season. At least he broke 4,000 yards, which not a lot of quarterbacks can do.
Yeah.
Unlike Daniel Jones, who had like 1,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, like 20 picks. Let's give you 40. Let's get you $40 million a deal, $40 million a year, and let's franchise tag our star.
Yeah.
Like, that was just stupid. I wouldn't do that yet, but this would be like the most. I wouldn't be surprised if this 49ers team did. If this Packers team did that, though.
Yeah.
That'd be so stupid.
So with Jordan Love, coming into the year, I said, not the guy. About halfway through the year, I said, definitely not the guy. So like if you asked me like week 10, like middle of the season, I would have said, not the guy. He should not be in Green Bay next year. If you asked me at the end of the regular season, I said he played well down the stretch. He deserves another year. After the playoff game against Dallas, I thought, you know what? I said I was wrong about this guy. This guy is very good. After the Green Bay game, I thought, okay.
The Niners game, you mean?
The Niners game, yeah.
Green Bay versus the Packers. Green Bay versus the Packers.
After the Niners game, I thought, okay. Overall, he had a good year. He did for 400 yards for 32 touchdowns. In a year where a lot of teams were, playing quarterback roulette, he was, stable throughout the whole year, never got hurt, played every game. Overall, had a good year. But when it comes to giving him this $45 million a year contract, teams make this mistake every single year. With Giants, like you talked about with Daniel Jones, for 3 years, the guy was terrible. Regardless of who the coach was or who was blocking for him, who he was throwing the ball to, he was terrible. He has one decent season, wins a playoff game,
and Joe Schoen's like, you deserve money.
And opposed to just tagging him, you say, here's $30 million. Go do that again, but even better. And they throw a bag at him, and it blew up in their face because he was horrible. He got hurt. A career backup in Tyrod Taylor, and an undrafted free agent who lives 10 minutes down the road, whose mom still makes his bed, and Tommy DeVito looked better than Daniel Jones in that offense.
All true. All facts.
With the worst offensive one I've ever seen.
All facts, and I hate Tommy DeVito.
No receivers. Like, even the play calling I thought was questionable at times. and the offense look competent even with freaking Tommy DeVito, whose mom still makes his bed. He lives down the street.
Yeah, and the only successful place he's done is like an 8-yard read option.
Exactly.
That's like the only thing he can do.
So that didn't work. This happens all the time.
Like Tommy DeVito is essentially a more annoying Chris Streveler. At that point, he probably played rugby in high school. He probably went to Don Bosco to play rugby, and all he knows is to run. And that's basically when the Jets put Chris Streveler in the game. They're like, you know what? Zach Wilson sucks. Just run read options all time.
Yeah, and teams do this all the time. The Eagles think with Jalen Hurts. His first year didn't play a whole lot. Played a couple of games. He flashed, nothing special. His second year he was okay. Showed potential. Then he has a great year, with a great coordinator, with a lot of weapons, and they threw $255 million at him. And then the coordinator leaves, and look what happened. And that contract is going to hurt them because Hurts is not an elite quarterback. He's just not.
Same thing with the Giants contract, because the Giants contract, it's reached a point to where I know people are saying for the Giants to draft a quarterback, but you can't afford to draft a quarterback. You're giving a guy $40 million to sit on the bench.
Yeah,
you have to use him now. That's like you're basically locked. And I don't think, and I think they need a quarterback because I don't think they need a quarterback or a lineman because I don't think a wide receiver is going to help them at all. I don't think
he could, but at the end of the day, if the quarterback doesn't have time to throw, it doesn't really matter.
It's like Christian McCaffrey on the Panthers. He's awesome, but no one's helping out the guy.
Exactly.
Give him, maybe on the occasional block he'll give you 55 yards, but it'll end up netting nothing anyway. It'll end up being a 3 and out in the next play regardless. They'll end up punting the football.
Exactly.
I don't understand. Because I think people really overpraise Joe Schoen.
They do.
Because Dave Gettleman left and everybody hated him. He was atrocious. He was atrocious. One of the worst GMs I've ever seen. In football, at least. If not in all of sports. Dave Young was awful. And then they get in Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, and then they may win one playoff game, and they're like, oh my God. He's a genius. Joe Schoen is an absolute mastermind. Put him in the genius category of your fucking Albert Einsteins, of your Neil deGrasse Tyson. I mean, really, this guy is the Goodwill Hunting of football. He's just and then you get absolutely shit on. What was the difference between this Giants team and the Giants team 2 years ago? Nothing.
Nothing really.
Just another coach that looks like an egg. Because Joe Judge also looked like an egg, for that matter. Joe Judge indeed looked like an egg. So I mean, I just don't know what the Giants are going to do here. They have put themselves in the Mike Tomlin level of limbo. They've basically fucked themselves.
But don't give him the bag. They probably will, but they shouldn't. But he deserves to come back for another year. But from there, are gonna move on to the NFC Championship. Sunday games. The first game was Lions-Bucks. Lions beat the Bucks 31-23, and the Lions are in the NFC Championship for the first time in over 30 years.
I mean, okay. Am I the only one that looks at this and is like, okay? You played the fucking Buccaneers. You played a team who, even though beat the Eagles, the writing was on the wall for that anyway. That was going to happen. And anyway, the team the Buccaneers beat the previous week got blown out by 30 to the Cardinals. They just got lit up by Hollywood Brown. I could not believe it. This was expected.
Yeah.
This was really expected. They had... On top of that, the Lions had all the momentum after that Rams game. All of the momentum was on their side for that one. But good for them. Good for them.
Yes.
Let these fans talk their shit. Let that 90-year-old super fan who's been absolutely loyal. Ladies, get you a man like that 90-year-old super fan for the Lions. Really. Imagine having that level of loyalty.
Yeah, crazy.
LeBron James should take a page out of his book.
Exactly.
But good win, I guess. Baker, Mike Evans kind of sucks, but good, but nice work. I don't know what else to say at this point. I'm at a loss. This is your show. No, this is your show. I don't know.
I was very happy for the Lions. They've had years of utility. They hadn't won a playoff game since 1991. Text messaging wasn't even around then. So like, if you texted a Lions fan after they beat the Rams and they were super, super happy, the reason is not only because their team won, it's because they literally never received a text about congratulations to the Lions from a playoff game, because it simply didn't happen. So I'm happy for them. As for the Bucs, I mean, I don't have much to say. I mean, they're not good. They're not a good football team. They're just in, I think, the worst division ever.
They are in a bad division.
I don't think it's a division that's been worse than that. There's been some bad ones. The Seahawks won the division at 7-9 years back.
The NFC East used to be horrible.
NFC East a couple of years ago with the Commanders winning at 7-9. They've had some bad ones.
There's always that one team though that like really doesn't deserve to.
There's always that one division that just comes out and just it isn't for. There's no good team, but one team just is like.
One team's got to make it, so you could be like 6. You could be like 6-11 and somehow make it. Like I genuinely thought that was what the AFC South was gonna be. Like I genuinely thought that was gonna be like one team's gonna be like 5-12 and it's just gonna make the wild card.
I just feel the AFC South was gonna have like an 8 or 9 win team, maybe 10 win division, but. So, like, AFC South, I also thought would be. I did not think they'd, almost send 2 teams in.
They'll send 2 teams.
I mean, NFC South, the Saints almost made it because the NFC just isn't very good. But yeah, I don't think Todd Bowles is a very good coach. He's a great defensive coordinator, but don't think he's a good head coach. But he won a playoff game, so they'll keep him.
Maybe if they just kept Blaine Gabbert, okay. The Super Bowl winner, Blaine Gabbert, Super Bowl champion.
That's true. Back up in Tampa. But with Baker, Tampa's about to do the same thing that the Packers going to do with Jordan Love. I have a feeling. They're about to see, he had 26 or 28 touchdowns against 9 interceptions or whatever, and they're like, he won a playoff game for us. Let's throw all this money at him.
They're not going to throw the bag at him. If you're not going to throw the bag at Ryan Fitzpatrick, you're not throwing the bag at Baker. I don't think they're going to throw the bag at him.
Like he had the best year of his career. I think he did. Did he have a good year? Like I guess, but
he definitely had a better year than previously. Like this was definitely his best year. I mean, definitely not number 1 overall pick deserving year, but definitely at least there were signs of life with Baker in this game in this season, which is good. I don't think they're going to throw the bag at him.
They shouldn't. I think they will.
I don't think the Buccaneers are that stupid. I think they're stupid enough to hire Todd Bowles, but not stupid enough to throw the bag at him.
They have a line.
Every team has a line, and for that one, it's just not being stupid enough to, I mean, unless you're the Panthers, you have a line. There's a line for stupid things you do. If you're the Buccaneers, I don't know if they throw the bag. And I think Baker is just going to go back to the classic team carousel bullshit. He's going to come in when a player's hurt, or he's going to be like a Joe Flacco, where he's going to be sitting on his couch, and they're going to come in, and he's just going to and they're going to be like, you know what, just come play, and then he will, and then he'll beat the Chiefs in one game, and then they'll be like, holy shit, Baker is just weird. Baker is the weirdest yet funniest player to watch ever. Baker has this tendency to, whenever he's not supposed to win, he just does. But then there's ones where whenever he is supposed to win, he doesn't. This guy does not win when he needs to.
I know.
But he I wouldn't have I also didn't think I wasn't going to I know a lot of Eagles fans thought they were going to kill the Buccaneers, and I was saying the most Baker thing to do is to beat the Eagles.
I picked Tampa in that game. Philly was not Philly. That team was broken. They were going to win that
that's
game.
The most Baker thing to do. I mean, look at what he did with the Rams.
Yeah.
Look at that, which I called as well, mind you.
You did on the spot.
Which I did as well. I'm like, the most Baker thing to do here is just absolutely shit on the Raiders for after being in LA for an hour.
No way. He didn't know his teammate's name. He didn't know where the locker room was.
He's like, you 12, catch the football right now.
You run this route.
Yeah, run this route. You 99. Who are you at Donald? I only know Donald Duck. Just like do what you do. Do whatever you do. Do whatever you do, buddy. Buddy, do whatever you do. Yeah, you know.
Oh, Donald Duck. I did not think Donald Duck would get brought up today. Wow.
You liked it.
Oh, I love it. I'm just surprised.
You liked it.
But yeah, don't get big in the bag. Anytime he played any diva with an ounce of talent, he did not look good.
This would have never happened if they just put in Kyle Trask.
I do think I'll give him another year probably. Like if they want to give him a short term or like tag him,
I would totally give Baker another year.
I'll give him another year. He's the best option they're gonna have. I feel like, but
I give him like a 1 year, $20 million deal.
Yeah, I'd tag him maybe a short term deal for like maybe give him 3 years, but you know financially if he falls on his face next year, you can move on at 3 years, something like that. But don't give him like a Daniel Jones contract or anything like that.
Yeah, don't give him a Daniel Jones contract. Don't give him a Jalen Hurts contract. No, sir.
But yeah, we Lions 49ers in the NFC Championship, and the Chiefs sneak past the Bills yet again, 27-24. Their 6th straight AFC Championship appearance. They will face the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship. So, this is the game you're most excited to talk about. As you can see, Justin's very happy. So
this was like the biggest game of the week, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it was the biggest game.
Absolutely. And Tyler Bass misses a 44-yard field goal with 1:47 left, which cost them the game. But let's not talk about him. Let's talk about Josh Allen.
I actually want to talk about the Bills as a whole, to be honest with you.
Let's go.
It's just a 3-word question. What's your excuse?
Exactly.
Please, just tell me. What's your excuse going to be this time? Oh, we shouldn't be allowed to kick field goals 40 yards out in the 4th down? Is that what you're going to cry to the NFL to next? You cannot bitch and moan every single time you lose. Every single time you lose. Like you're saying, you can't cry about the OT rules because of the fucking coin flip. Guess what? Guess what? This year, when the OT was in your favor, when you won the coin flip, you got absolutely shit on by Xavier Gipson. I just want to make that completely. Yeah. I just want to make that on a game to where their entire Jets team was shaken up because the future of their franchise died in the 4th play of the game.
Yeah.
He fucking broke his ACL like a Kit Kat bar in that game. I cannot believe it. Unbelievable. I hate the Bills with a passion. So I don't think I have any right to talk about them, but good God, that was an absolute abysmal performance. Yeah, Josh Allen played fine-ish. Dalton Kincaid had to bail out 2 fumbles. He had to bail out 2 fumbles. One of which was from like fucking Khalil Shakir, and the other one was from Josh Allen. Like he's also when the game mattered most, this is what the biggest issue with Josh Allen has been. Not clutch. He is so incredibly unclutch. I'm not saying necessarily to move off of him because anybody will pick him up in a heartbeat because he still is a top player. But I cannot stand how he bitches all the time. I can't stand how he underperforms in the biggest moments. I can't stand how he bitches all the time, and I can't stand how everybody babies him.
Yeah.
Outside of Trayvon Diggs. But so I cannot stand how everybody on that team babies him like this. You are in your 7th year, and you are still making the same mistakes that you did as a rookie. Overthrowing people, throwing it into double coverage for what? Just because you think you can? Just because you're Josh Allen and you think you can? I know that the Chiefs' defense sucks ass, but still, show a little fucking respect. Show a little respect. Show just a modicum of respect to Patrick Mahomes and what he can do. Really, just do that for me, Josh Allen. But I just realized you won't because you want to know why? You play for the Bills.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs' defense was underrated. I think they were actually very good, but like also, Josh Allen, he should still be lighting them up.
Yeah, you gotta be like, how much more talent do you need?
Exactly.
For God's sake, Patrick Mahomes is destroying your entire team with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's throwing pitchbacks to McCole Hardman.
McCole Hardman's so bad.
McCole Hardman's terrible, and that would have been a touchdown too,
Yeah.
or at least a stop at the 1.
What was McDermott thinking on that fake punt?
What? Bro, he thought it was me. He
thought it was you and Madden. He
took a play out of my Madden online playbook that I use specifically for teams I don't like. To where it's like 4th and 15, and I just hate the Bills so much. So I'll just do like a fake punt involving Nick Bawden throwing the football to like Bryce Huff. Like, yeah, okay, he could try, but like that is just not the right idea. Sean McDermott should be fired. He's had way too much talent for this team to exist. This team and the Cowboys is, to me, the prime example of what a real poverty franchise looks like. A poverty franchise is not a team that has an endless playoff drought. No. A poverty franchise is a team that has tons of pieces on their team and is still a merchant in the first or second round. Like the 76ers.
Yeah.
How much more do you need on that 76ers team for you to make it out of the second round? The answer? None. But that's all I have to say about this. I mean, I don't know about you. It's like,
Just my thing with the Bills. They just every year they come in with one of the best quarterbacks. They got all these weapons. Now they have a running game. They come in with a great defense, a supposedly really good head coach. I think McDermott's very overrated. He's very mediocre, but people think he's really good.
Bro's bringing up 9/11 in his pregame speech. I thought Jonathan Gannon's speech was bad, but at least he didn't bring up at least he didn't bring up the biggest attack in America that happened in New York while coaching for a team in New York.
Yeah. That's crazy. I cannot say anything that I said in my tweet right after that happened. I cannot say anything I said in that tweet on the air. You guys can go find it. You guys know. You go search my Twitter.
He doesn't delete his tweet.
No, it's not getting deleted. It's just not going to happen. I have a personal Twitter where other people don't see it. Only certain people see it, and then I have a professional one. It's not on the professional one because that would not go well. But the Bills every year they seem like there's no reason they shouldn't go on a deep run and be in the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, they lose in the second round.
Shout out Tyler Bass for sure. Shout out Tyler Bass to where if I was him, I would have asked all the linemen at the end of the game, be like, please, I need to get home, build a perimeter around me, because there's some Yankees fan who wants to be on the team so bad and is going to try practicing his swing with a lead pipe to Tyler Bass's kneecap. Double surgery, that's what it is. Not a double on base, double surgery. Double knee surgery. But ready to be Alex Smith, buddy. You're not.
But yeah,
I would have cut Tyler Bass in the locker room.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to come back. But I think most of the blame should be put on Josh Allen. He's starting to grow a little overrated. He's still really good. He's still a top 7 or 8 quarterback for sure. But he's not top 3 anymore. This is the thing with him. In his third year in the league, he had that big breakout year. His first year, he wasn't great. Then he had that big breakout year. The problem is he's not getting better. He broke out in probably 2020. He's doing the same stuff, except turning the ball over more. So he's getting worse. So he's just not getting better. He's staying as good as he was in his third year in the league, which is still really good. But the problem is when you do in sports, when you do the same thing over and over again, because of how much film these teams have on every player in today's day and age.
Unless you're Kyler.
Exactly.
Unless it's a double XP weekend, you're not Kyler's not looking at the film.
You can figure him out. You can figure out how to stop him and how to limit him. So that's the problem with him. And Stephon Diggs, he didn't have a good year.
Oh, he played awful that game. No one's gonna talk about Stephon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs will fight anybody. Who's gonna talk about his brother like that? Which I get. Stand up for your brother. I respect that. But also, your brother had 3 catches in a big game. He
didn't have a good year. He's very disgruntled. I don't think there's a shot in hell he's on a team next year.
I don't think.
I don't see They're over the cap. They need to add more pieces to this team. They're over the cap. He didn't have a good year. He's been disgruntled for several years there. He did the same thing in Minnesota, by the way. He's on a huge contract. They can save $19 million by trading him, which they need. I just don't know. The issue is now if you trade him, you look at the weapons, which right now looks really good. Without Diggs, now all of a sudden they don't look so great.
Yeah, there are really 3 players that I can tell you that I just don't see being in their jersey next year, and that's easily, questionably, it's Jonathan Taylor, but easily it's Stephon Diggs.
Jonathan Taylor?
I don't think he stays in the Colts jersey next year. I think he's done.
Well, they gave him a 4-year extension.
No, it don't matter.
Really?
He'll ask for a trade.
Whoa, that was something else.
I don't see him being in a Colts jersey. He bitched too much to want to come back. He bitched too much. He bitched too much. Just wanted to come back so easily next year. I don't think he will. But the 2 people that I definitely don't see being in their jersey next year, I don't see Stephon Diggs being in a Bills jersey next year, and I definitely do not see Derrick Henry being in a Titans jersey next year.
No, he's not. He's leaving.
Derrick Henry and that post game speech really made it sure, like, yeah, buddy, yeah, guys, fuck you, I'm leaving, I'm going.
Yeah, he did a little speech on the field after the game, and then he
and Tyler Bass will not be in a Bills jersey next year.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not
Sucks
very
ass.
iffy. But I do think people gotta realize, yes, should he have made that field goal? Yes, a 44-yarder, minute 47 left in the game. Down by a field goal in the playoffs against the Chiefs, yes, you have to make that. By the way, wide right in the Bills, I don't know why this always happens to them in the biggest moments, but for some reason it does. But Pat Mahomes would have had a minute 40 seconds and 2 timeouts to get 3 points. He's doing that. He was going to rip your heart out either way.
He's going to make it happen, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to have more respect for Mahomes.
Yeah.
When it comes to defenses, like, with 2 minutes left, you're going, even if they scored a touchdown, you're still giving him a minute 40 seconds with 2 timeouts to go the length of the field.
Yeah.
It would have happened. It just would have. I mean, We're looking at one of the best game managers we've ever seen.
Yeah. So what they should blame Josh Allen, because on 2nd and 9, they had 2 minutes left. You're down by a field goal. You have a couple options. You could either score a touchdown now, and then watch Pat Mahomes rip your heart out in the last minute and 50 of the game, and you lose. You can, wait a little bit to score a touchdown and win the game, or you can wait a little bit and get a field goal if you can't get a touchdown and go to overtime and take your chances. Obviously, with the new overtime rules, you won't have to worry about
the coin flip.
You don't have to worry about losing the coin flip and watching Mahomes go down there and march down the field and score a touchdown. There's nothing you can do about it. And so, first down, they run for a yard. Andy Reid calls timeout. He realized they remember what happened a couple of years ago. They won't let that happen again. They're going to try and score with as little time as possible. So let's call a timeout. So 2nd and 9, Allen tried to be the hero. Why? You had a minute 55 left. You had all your timeouts. The Chiefs are starting to use their timeouts. If you give Mahomes any inch of time, he's going to rip your heart out. Why are you playing hero ball? They should have looked for did a little underneath route. Look for Shakir or Kincaid underneath.
They weren't able to stop Cook or Shakir all game.
Yeah.
They really were not able
to. Do something small, let the clock run, and eventually try and score a touchdown. You're better off getting a chip-chop field goal, in the final seconds and going to overtime than scoring at all now. And then, so on 2nd and 9, he throws a deep pass in the end zone, incomplete. Next play, 3rd and 9, does the exact goddamn thing.
Like, he's not a game manager, Josh Allen. Like, the fact that I can confidently call Jimmy Garoppolo more of a game manager than fucking... The fact that I call Aiden O'Connell more of a game manager than fucking Josh Allen is scary to me.
Yeah, but, it doesn't make any sense. Like, even if Tyler Bass makes that field goal, you're going to lose. So, Allen, I don't know what he was doing. And that's the problem. That's the problem with him. He plays hero ball too much. He does it way... He turns into Jameis Winston way too much. He's either one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the league, got one of the 3 best arms that I've ever seen, or he's like, or he's Jameis Winston. There's no in between with him.
No, there's never a
Which is the
middle.
issue.
There's never a mediocre game from him.
No.
It's either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
And just one thing as well, people are gonna kill. They're gonna kill Jordan Love in the media for trying to play hero ball, but Josh Allen's doing it, and they're just gonna talk about Tyler Bass all day today.
I know.
I don't think Tyler Bass has got to make that. But as you said, Mahomes on the other side of it, and and he just knows when to play, and he just knows when to play when it matters most, and he knows how to play hero ball. We've seen it; it's nothing new. And this is by no means, audience, a Patrick Mahomes glazing session. There's no difference between glazing and facts.
Mm-hmm.
Please, for anyone listening to this, let me just ask you: name me one time in the biggest moments where Patrick Mahomes was what did a absolutely boneheaded play to cost them the game. He hasn't. The only play that was bad was Kadarius Toney stepping over the fucking line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Absolute that's the only he doesn't and Patrick was going to his 6th straight AFC championship game in his 6 years of starting. For every year he started, he's been to an AFC championship game. I think people need to talk about that more.
Yeah.
People need to have a conversation more about that. Come on. But also, Josh Allen sucks. That boy's gonna be delivering my DoorDash today.
All right, before we close out the show, let's just now. I want to get your predictions for the conference championship round. So in the NFC, 49ers Lions. Who do you got?
49ers Lions.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pieces that are kind of in the what if area of things. The defense last a couple of nights ago for the 49ers did not impress me.
No.
And it's kind of like clockwork with this 49ers team, where they always tend to get hurt at the biggest points.
Yeah.
If Debo is hurt, consider I'm taking the Lions as going to the Super Bowl. And that's but I do think it could be anyone's game. That's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
These are 2 championship games that I think are going to be so good.
Oh yeah.
Whichever one goes first. I forgot how it is this year. I think is it NFC goes last this year? Because sometimes they flip it every year. So I don't know.
Yeah, let's find that out right now. Let's see if I can find who goes
Probably just
first.
check ESPN.
Yeah. Let's see.
Check that, and then you can just
See
scroll down.
See who goes first this year.
Yeah, conference championship. Who goes first this year?
So the
It's
AFC first.
It's
Okay.
the AFC this year. Wow. I mean, both of those games
Yeah.
deserve to be primetime games easily.
Yeah.
I might slightly put it over. You could slightly argue Chiefs Ravens should be primetime because you have somebody who's the MVP favorite versus, a former MVP and former Super Bowl champion and reigning Super Bowl winner. So but still, I mean, they're playing. That's okay. But I don't know. I actually think the Lions might pull this one out.
Yeah?
I actually do.
Things we could.
What Dan Campbell has shown me this year is that he can coach a team to make sure that they have a lot of grit.
Mm-hmm.
They do not give a shit who they're playing. They could be playing the Panthers, who are 2-15, or they could be playing or they could be playing the 12-5 49ers.
Mm-hmm. They
will. He coaches that team to say it's basically don't be nervous. It's just another game.
Yeah.
They will, and they have been very impressive. And I think this is the Lions' time to really have a story.
Yeah.
This is it. I think a lot. I think. Could you imagine how great it would be if they made it to a Super Bowl?
Oh my God.
That would be so incredible for the league.
I know.
With just the same few teams winning it all the time, that would be great. So I'm actually going to take a minor upset with the Lions on this one. I don't think it's a big upset, but it's a tiny upset.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Lions.
I'll take the 49ers. This will be a great game, like you said. I think because the 49ers, they had a couple weeks off. They, in the last game of the year, didn't really play a lot of their stars because their seed was locked up and they obviously had to bye. Sometimes that works because you are very rested. Sometimes it hurts you because you get rusty. I think it hurt the Niners in that way because they looked a little rusty. Purdy looked a little out of sync with his receivers at times. Obviously, Debo got hurt, which didn't help. The secondary, I thought struggled. Against Tampa. I think now for another game under their belt, I think they'll look a little sharper. I think Purdy won't miss as many throws. I know Debo right now is up in the air. They still have, the best back in the league, in my opinion, in McCaffrey. They still have Ayuk, who's a good receiver. They still have Kittle, who's one of the best tight ends. So they still have plenty of weapons. And just, they're more experienced than the Lions. But it'll be a great game. But I'll take the Niners.